Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of SCTV3. I'm your host, Bree Hill.
And I'm Alex Thomas. Ariel Castro, who kidnapped 3 girls in the Cleveland, Ohio area and held them hostage for, in some cases, more than a decade, was found dead in his cell September 3rd after allegedly having hung himself. Now investigators say Castro may have died due to asphyxiation. Today, many believe he hung himself strictly for suicidal purposes. Castro was sentenced to life in prison, plus 1,000 years for his crimes.
There's possible good news today coming from Washington, D.C. regarding the government shutdown. GOP leaders and President Barack Obama are meeting today to discuss a possible deal that would raise the debt ceiling. There's some pressure to get the deal done because the United States is slated to default on October 17th. According to economists, the default by the government would be, quote, catastrophic. It would be the first time in history the U.S. government has defaulted. Also catastrophic has been Miley Cyrus's downhill spiral, but luckily her album Bangers has brought her up again. Vivi Novella, our reporter, has a music insider for you.
Welcome to another segment of Viv's Music Insider. Miley Cyrus's album Bangers finally came out earlier this week, and as expected, sales were booming from the minute the album was released. Bangers is still #1 for top-selling albums on iTunes, and sales are still continuing to rise. Miley Cyrus's album consists of 16 tracks. Miley has even teamed up with artists like Future, Nelly, Big Sean, and even Ludacris. This album is unlike anything Miley has ever produced before. You're going to want to check this album out. Justin Timberlake may have outdone himself with his new album that came out earlier this week. Justin's new album, 2020, definitely brings its own style to the table. With hints of pop, rock, jazz, and even some soul, you'll definitely find something that floats your boat. Eminem is back at it again. His new single, Survival, premiered on YouTube 2 days ago, and the views are still steadily coming in. This is one music video that is definitely worth watching. Eminem went back to his home roots of Detroit to do most of this filming. Once again, Eminem has come up with witty lines and a beat that will be stuck in your head for days. This single is proof that Eminem is most definitely still in the rap game. And make sure you keep your eyes open for Time Fly's new album Warning Signs, which is expected to release on iTunes October 14th. Vivo released their single Ride on YouTube 2 days ago. This is only the lyrical video, but it's definitely worth taking a listen to. That's all I have for this week. Join me next week for another segment of Viv's Music Insider.
Baby, you could ride, baby, you could ride, baby, you could ride with me.
Well, this past weekend here on campus was Family Weekend at Springfield College. It was a great weekend for students as they welcomed family and friends from all over to Springfield. There were many great events, from performances to sporting events. It was a good turnout, and we hope everyone and their guests enjoyed the weekend.
Among the events from this week was Late Night Bingo. The popular event among students was open to family and friends this past Friday night at the Union. Our very own Josh Gaines caught the story.
This past Friday night was Family Bingo, where families could come play bingo and have a great time. Not only was there bingo, there was also dance contests to keep the families entertained. Overall, Family Night Bingo was a success, and everyone couldn't help but have a good time. From SCTV3, this is Josh.